It is the hometown of our next guest, Warren Moon, the definition of a Hall of Famer, 23 pro seasons, LA product, as I mentioned, 9-time Pro Bowler, 5-time Grey Cup champion. Everybody knows who he is. How you doing, Warren? Looks like you're at home in Seattle right now. You're coming down here soon, correct?
I am coming to Los Angeles, tonight.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate you fitting us in, Warren, so much. And I got to ask you, what does Super Bowl week mean to you in terms of your schedule and how much you enjoy it and that kind of thing? What do you got going on this week?
It's a pretty busy week for me this week. I'm speaking at a sports and technology breakfast tomorrow morning at the convention center. Then I'm going to do a round through Radio Row tomorrow afternoon, and also Thursday morning. So it's going to be a busy day. And then I've got some different events going on in the evening, some fundraisers and different things like that. So it's going to be a busy week. And then I'm also doing the broadcast for Sky Television for the UK on Sunday. So I've got to get prepared to do the game as well. So it's going to be a busy week for me.
Yeah, well, isn't it something, right? Well, you've done enough of these that obviously you know how to pace yourself and so forth. And more than anything, I hope that it's fun. And we just had Sky Sports NFL analyst Jeff Reinbold on with us yesterday. Warren, you would know Jeff. He said, I talked about the players being shielded from the distractions of the Super Bowl week. It reminds me of the Grey Cup in a way. This is my first, Warren. Grey Cup times 1,000. But he said if there was ever a city that the Super Bowl could get lost in, it's Los Angeles. This is your hometown. I guess you could agree with that. I mean, how do you think the Super Bowl is going to go over in this city?
It's gonna go over well. This city knows how to put on big time events. You know, they have the Oscars and the Grammys and all the different events every year, so they know how to put on big time events. And they've had many Super Bowls there in the past that I've been to, but they just haven't had one in a while. But they're really excited about the fact that the Super Bowl is back in Southern California in Los Angeles. They're going to do it upright, but like you said, people can get lost in the Super Bowl because there's so many other things going on in Los Angeles that you have a certain amount of people that, could care less about what's going on with professional sports, especially the Hollywood industry or whatever. And then there's a part of the Hollywood that wants to be a part of the Super Bowl. So it's a city that's made for big time events, for glitzy type events like the Super Bowl is going to be. And I think they're going to put on a big show for us this coming, not just Sunday, but this whole week.
Well, already I found it a little overwhelming, and I'm told, oh, you wait. You wait. And I'm like, oh boy, well, we'll see how it goes. I'm more than anything having a heck of a lot of fun. But it, again, like the Grey Cup, Warren, there's the party, then there's the game. There's two distinct sides, right? And at least the NFL networks finally started to talk about the game. Rams, Bengals, you're going to be talking about the matchups all week. You probably started doing it already. It just seems like David versus Goliath to me. What are you seeing happening in this game?
I don't think it's quite Goliath. I think the Rams are a good football team, but I don't think they're a Goliath football team. They were a number 4 seed, so they had to work their way to get here, and Cincinnati was a number 4 seed, so they were both kind of equal seeds as far as their conferences were concerned. I think the Rams are the better team on paper. They have the more experienced guys. They have guys that are Hall of Fame type guys on their team, like Von Miller and Jalen Ramsey is a guy who will probably be in the Hall of Fame one day because of the way he plays. You've got Aaron Donald, who's on his way. So they have a lot of more star power on the Rams football team. But I think this Cincinnati team is a team that's shown you week in and week out, no matter how far they get behind, they just won't go away. They're not going to give up. They don't panic. And they have a quarterback that kind of leads the way for them in Joe Burrow. So I think it's going to be a really good matchup.
Well, I could sit and talk to you about this all day, but I see the Rams getting better. And when they smashed Arizona on Wild Card weekend, I thought, okay, here we go. Like in your 5 Grey Cups, the runs, was there ever like a playoff game in the divisional round that was the hardest to win? And you rolled after that? We had that with Saskatchewan in 2013 with the Rough Riders. We killed BC in the semifinal at home, and the rest, blowouts the rest of the way. Did you have a Grey Cup championship like that the toughest games were earlier in the playoffs?
Well, I thought it was always the toughest game for us was the Western Final, just to get to the Grey Cup, because I thought the best teams were in the West. And usually, if we got past the Western Final, we felt pretty good about who we were going to play in the East. Now, we did play Ottawa one year, I think it was 81, and we got behind 20-1 at halftime and had to come back and win that game in the second half. And we were huge favorites in that football game. So you can never take any team for granted. Especially in a championship game like that, in a one-off type thing where all you have to do is have one bad afternoon and all of a sudden you lose a championship. So we were fortunate enough to come back and win that championship. I think that was our fourth one at that time, and it was quite a battle for us against the Ottawa Roughriders in Montreal, but we pulled it out somehow.
Well, and I'm not going to keep you long. I know maybe this will be my last question, but somebody told me here last night on the streets of L.A. that America doesn't care about the Bengals. And I thought, well, maybe that's true. But, Warren, I get excited about everything. How do you think the NFL feels about the matchup of the Rams-Bengals? Because I think there's like 100 storylines coming out of the game, but that's just me. Do you think the NFL is happy that these are the two teams left standing for Super Bowl 56?
Well, I think that the league is always going to be happy about whoever gets to the Super Bowl because it is a Super Bowl, and I think people will learn more about the Cincinnati Bengals as the week goes along. I'm sure they would have probably preferred having Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes and the star power of his name in the Super Bowl, but Joe Burrow has proved that he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league, and this Cincinnati team has earned their way into this game, so they deserve to be here. So we'll see what happens. But everybody likes these underdog stories, and let's see if that plays out that way.
That's one of the biggest reasons I love it. Do you have a minute for a couple of questions from viewers, Warren?
Sure.
Okay, appreciate it. Dan in Saskatoon wants to know, Mr. Moon, do you remember playing against Joe Burrow's dad, the former Alouette?
I don't remember his name or per se, but when they showed that his dad had played in Canada during the time that I was there, I was trying to think of when I might have played against him, but I don't remember his name per se, but he did play up there during the same time as me, and I guess he did play against me.
Jason in Red Deer says Warren is the greatest quarterback in CFL history. Oh, he says, too bad he played for the wrong team. That Alberta rivalry. It's James in Manitoba says Warren could have won a few more Grey Cups if he had not left for the NFL. Can you just take me back to that time for a second? 5 consecutive Grey Cups. Who knows how many you guys would have won? It's the reason they call it the City of Champions. To go to Houston and then from there, easy decision, obviously. But what was it like in that period of your life?
You really don't understand what the impact is until you're not in it anymore. We were just going along and just playing every year, and we knew we had a good nucleus. We tried to keep that nucleus together as long as we possibly could. Hugh Campbell did a great job of bringing in talent and just kind of inserting a couple of younger guys every year into our football team because we were starting to get older at a lot of positions. A great combination of youth and experience, and I think that was one of the reasons why we were so good. And one of the big reasons we were so good is because of our Canadian talent. We had very good Canadian talent. Everybody seems to have pretty good American talent, but the Canadian talent is what makes the difference to me. And our Canadian players were outstanding, and we could use an all-Canadian line. We didn't have to use Americans on our offensive lines, and where we could put Americans in other different positions. So the way they used our roster was very, very imaginative and kind of ahead of the time for what when we were playing then. So I really loved what not only Hugh Campbell but Frank Morris, our player personnel director, did with the talent that they brought in each and every year, and it really kept our team fresh and energized. And that's one of the reasons why we stayed on top so long, is because we had a lot of younger guys that would come in every year and be just as hungry as us veterans.
Well, it was certainly a wonderful time in the CFL. Many refer to it as the golden age of the league, as you know. Mr. Moon, I will let you go. See you here in Los Angeles. Always appreciate the chat. Travel safe, please, and thanks for the time today.
You take care of yourself, and you travel safe as well. And hopefully you have a great Super Bowl week, because it should be a lot of fun out there in Los Angeles. I'm looking forward to having some fun as well as doing some work.
Okay, we'll be looking for you. Warren Moon joining us from Seattle, the only player to be in both the Pro Football Hall of Fame and Canadian Football Hall of Fame. We've made that distinction. Bud Grant is the other.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching the RP Show on YouTube. And don't forget, we're live daily on YouTube from noon to 2 Eastern. If you like what you see, hit subscribe. And if you like the program, check around for other segments of the Rod Pedersen Show here on YouTube.